Racing's players ran onto the pitch wearing berets, a nod to the host city that is regarded as the capital of the Basque region. They did the same 31 years ago when playing a top 14 match in Bayonne, a period when some of the club's players formed the Eden Park leisure clothing brand. When they faced Brive in April 1987, they took to the field in blazers and pink bow ties, and they sported harem pants the following week against Toulouse. They were known then as the Showbiz Kids, but a cup final comes under the factual rather than entertainment category. With heavy rain falling, Dan Carter withdrawing from the bench on Friday with a hamstring strain, and the player he was understudying, Pat Lammy, lasting 2 minutes before he suffered a knee injury, black seemed the appropriate colour for racing. It was so only at the end, having matched Leinster for every stride. There had been a clue about Carter's fitness on Wednesday when he pulled out of a conference call with journalists just before it was due to start. Racing were already without their captain and spiritual guide, Maxime McKennaud, who suffered a knee injury in the penultimate round of the top 14. His replacement at scrum half and as the side's leading goal kicker was Teddy Iribaren, a journeyman number 9, who, at the age of 27, had spent most of his career in the shadows. He did not need dark glasses to shield his eyes from the limelight. A focus in the week had been the likely influence of the fly halves, Johnny Sexton for Leinster, the South African international Lammy and Carter for Racing, but with the wet ball making handling hazardous, the scrum halves became the focal point. The three used handled the ball 207 times, their fly halves 57. Iribaren, left-footed, put distance on his box kicks while Luke McGrath weighted his more, conscious of the discomfort of two of Racing's back three, Lewis Dupicott and Mark Andreu, that prompted them to drop too deep. Wales was once said to have had a fly half factory, but scrum halves come off their production line in France, virtually cloned. They tend to be small and wiry and lead tactically. So, although Racing had their second choice in the position, partnered for most of the match by the third option at 10, Rémi Tales, a 34-year-old with 24 France caps, the conditions had more impact on their pattern of play than injuries. The best defence in the competition held, but discipline did not. Leinster, who equalled Toulouse's record of 4 European Cup triumphs, had swept all before them in Europe, but Racing were prepared. They used Iribaren to play for position, their big ball carriers taking out defenders to give the scrum half the time to kick, and Leinster initially struggled to force turnovers. Leinster's journey to Bilbao had seen them recycle ball that well, but here they struggled after taking the ball into the breakdown where the Racing hooker, Camille Chat, was the main saboteur. It made for a cagey affair that from the start was a battle of the boot. French teams are known for a tendency to flag in the final quarter. Leinster did not lead in the first 77 minutes, but Racing, who have played in 2 finals in the past 3 years without scoring a try, were never more than 3 points ahead. There was a sense Leinster were waiting for the closing moments, but Racing were like a Rashno Salkutsuf. What did for them ultimately was a lack of variation. They kept kicking, but Leinster's back three was secure, and as the rain relented they exploited the greater scope for continuity. As Iribaren tired, there was no trusted replacement. It looked destined for extra time. unless Sexton could equal his feat at the start of the Six Nations when he dropped a goal with time up to secure victory for Ireland in Paris, but in a match addled with penalties, there was an inevitability about one team having a final chance. It was Racing who cracked, tails marginally straying offside under his own posts for Eisenachwer to put Leinster ahead after Racing had been penalised in attack and had wasted a line-out steal. They had a final fling, but Tails is no Sexton and hooked his drop goal. From berets to beret.